Hey guys, welcome back to Passing the Bar podcast, where we are a group of bartenders talking about the ups and downs of the industry and all the social social issues that we face. Social issues that we
Red
face.
leather, yellow leather.
Okay, here we go. Hey guys, welcome back to Passing the Bar podcast, where we are a group of bartenders talking about the ups and downs of the industry and all the social issues that we face on a daily basis. Today we have our great host, Steve Saucy, with us.
Hey, what's going on, everyone?
And we have our great guest, Tyler Woodard, here.
Hey, how's it going?
Today we're talking about basically bartenders in their beginning. Tyler is one of those people. He's what Josh Seberg said in the one of our recent episodes. He calls them baby bartenders, but he said that Tyler was the greatest baby bartender that he has ever met.
Hey, all right.
So how long you been bartending, Tyler?
All told, about 2 years. Oh, sorry. So about 2 years, got my start at Twist right after Yard House, actually, right around that time frame when I came to know you. And, just really fell in love with it. Had been in restaurants for a long time, like kind of just doing it as a way to support myself while I was doing other things. And then just fell in love with the bar scene and stumbled into some awesome mentors that showed me like how cool it could be and like how many different avenues you could express yourself through bartending.
Awesome.
Just kind of on that train.
So when I met you was at Yard House. I was there as a bartender at the time. I believe you were working the pantry side, or were you working the fry side? You were a cook.
I was grill and then floated for a while.
Yeah, that's right, grill. Okay, cool. And then I remember the day that I happened to be off, and we were sitting at the bar. You come and hung out with me a little bit, and
Right.
we were kind of talking about life and then the universe and everything, in between all that. It was kind of crazy. It's one of those drunken conversations where
Having
you
an
just,
I just
existential
picked up,
conversation at work.
I just started Bravo's at the time, if you remember. 'Cause
Oh,
I was looking
yeah.
for a side gig, and I
Yep.
got back into serving.
Right.
And had a bunch of questions about wine because I didn't know shit.
That's right.
I definitely didn't know wine.
yeah, that's right. Yep. And then so when your first bartending gig, how did that come about?
It was just luck and happenstance, like so much that's happened to me. So I found myself at Twist, literally because I was working a job that I didn't enjoy, and I stopped in Twist just to kind of be like, hey, like, what's going on? Are you looking for servers maybe? And then ran into David. This is after Josh was long gone.
Right.
But like the shadows of his bar program were still in place there.
Yeah.
And so I worked at the dining room for a while, and what was cool about that dining room is there was a tiny little like two-top bar where like if the dining room person was experienced enough, they would just make their own drinks for their tables.
Oh, wow.
Which was like the natural, like, oh, there's a bar down here, and if I know how to make the drinks, I'm allowed to make the drinks. So teach yourself how to make the drinks really fast.
Oh, no joke.
And then
I've never heard of that before.
Twist is a wild beast.
They do a similar thing at Chicks.
Oh, really?
Where, like, during the day, especially in the off-season, when it's slower, you know what I mean? You don't need a bartender during the day.
Right.
So all the servers are responsible for making the their drinks for their tables and whatnot. You need an old-fashioned, you better go behind the bar and make it.
Right.
No joke.
Yeah. So
That's
but
actually kinda
going
neat.
with that. That's probably a great transition though for you because you learn the drinks, you already know how to do everything, and then you're like, all right, cool, man, just throw me behind the bar.
That's what it was too, and then it puts the ball in your court. It's kind of like, oh, do you want to bartend? It's not like come and beg for it every day and like, oh, like I really want to do this, but I'm not going to do anything to show that I want to do this other than show
Right.
up and do my serving job, which
Right.
is what I'm getting paid to do anyway. It's like, oh, you have this avenue and this kind of openness to like teach yourself some shit, and then they still had the main bar on the side, so like when you needed that mentorship, when you got the drink you didn't know how to make, you could still like go and look for that. But after a couple months of doing that, there was an opening at the main bar, like there so often is. Got some turnover,
Yeah.
and I was able to just kind of like slide myself right in and be like, hey, ready to go, what can I do?
That's cool, man.
Yeah, it was tight.
So just for me, like knowing Tyler from Yard House and seeing him on Facebook, and he's very active in his social media, which is great as far as like promoting his brand and like promoting wherever he is at the time.
Yeah.
But just seeing where coming from that like cook position, you know what I mean, and then moving back into the service, and then jumping into the bar thing, but how fast you jumped into like the depth of bartending, like it's even for me the other day. So recently, Tyler invited. He talked to me about going into a bar competition.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and I was like, I don't know.
Shout out to MC, the awesome Bacardi Campari America comp we did. Thank you. It's such a great event.
Yeah, so it was super cool, man. And I'm gonna touch more back on that later, but that was like super cool, man. But so when you first started bartending, in your mind, was it about, ooh, I'm gonna make a whole bunch of money, or was it like, I really like the idea of bartending and I want to be a bartender?
It never quite hit any of that, honestly. So it was, like I said, I was already working restaurants just to kind of like support myself, pay my bills, you know. And so I was a chemistry major, like, you know, when I was pretending to go to college. And so I've always had like that side of me. And then just luck and happenstance, once again, where I stumbled my first way into a cocktail bar where you jigger everything. And like, measurements are super important to everybody and like proper technique, which really hit like my like science friendly brain, like that part of me that really enjoys that style. But also, you know, I got really lucky that probably for one, like, don't want to, you know, talk about Josh too much. Just kidding. I love that dude. Thank you so much.
He's amazing.
You know, like I said, he wasn't there anymore,
awesome,
but he had started that bar program. So I'm not, you know, the first drink I learned how to make in that place was a Cosmo, because of course it is, because it's Virginia Beach. But you know, the was also like
Sex in the City was popular.
Cosmos here.
Oh, no, it's bad. I worked at Oceanfront for about 2 months.
Do you have garnishes?
Yeah, like, all my bartending experience was like Manhattans and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And somebody ordered a Jaeger bomb, and I had to look it up because I was like, I know it's Jaeger and Red Bull, but like, is there peach schnapps or some shit in this that I don't know about? Like, just never done that style.
I get you.
But so, you know, on this menu, aside from the Cosmos, and like old fashions come along pretty quick, but there's all these classics, these Chomps de Elises, like these really cool like pre-prohibition cocktails. And then the people that were working there, like, you know, Dre, obviously, you know, guy my age, guy who was super into it. So I saw like what I could do in a year of like being serious about it. And that was super impressive.
Yeah,
really. And then like, if y'all know Shira, you know, she worked at Shiptown forever. She was over at Alkaline. I think she's at the Hunt Room. Actually, no, she moved to Greece with her new husband. But amazing bartender. Yeah, right.
She won.
That's it.
And
You've made it, girl.
Yeah, you did. Congratulations.
She's wicked talented. And that was an example of like what I could do with a bunch of years of like working really hard and having all of that in the same building. It was just, I don't know. I don't think it, like, for my like personal story would have been repeatable. But it just, everything fell in place. And then once I started getting on that role and started seeing what I could do with it, that's when the interest became like actually solidified in my mind of, oh, I want to be a bartender. Because I can support myself doing something that I really enjoy.
Oh, man. 100%.
And something that's going to be constantly changing. Because I'm a very high strung, like, Josh does not call me Squirrely Tyler for no reason. I'm not super stoked about the nickname, but I'll wear it because it's true. Like,
I love it.
I don't do well with repetitive tasks, man. And like, you could have a carbon copy day, like Monday, Tuesday, in the same bar, the exact same people coming at the exact same time, and it's going to be a totally different day because they're going to be in different moods. Their palates are going to be different because of what they ate that day. It's constantly a new challenge and a new something to step up to. So that keeps me like energetic and going for it. There's not a lot of other jobs that can keep my head like where it needs to be. Right,
just constantly moving.
Yeah,
that's good, man. So yeah, Josh, how did you meet him?
Through reputation, a long time before anything. So you know, and he's pretty honest about this. When he started Twist, he was the real young dude and kind of a dick about a lot of things. But he was right. And that's one of the things he talks to me a lot is like, you know, I was right, but I wasn't going about it in the right way. So there was always be the stories of like, you know, all these people that I was training under at Twist had trained under Josh a year prior. That place wasn't that old. And there were stories about like sitting up in the cigar club for half an hour, like you know, shaking shaker tins of rice to like him patting on the table and just like yelling and like it's a jazz band in the 20s, like, oh, no more clams, we're out of tune, like start over, like just watch the whole thing. And you know, he'll laugh, but there's this awful newspaper article of him on the wall across the bathroom from Twist. And he finally got it back, you know, finally stole it back, and it's sitting in his bathroom right now. But it was just an article. I think it was Kevin Neff interviewing him and like about his early bartending career. And I used to sit there and like read that, like whenever I got annoyed at like, you know, management or whatever it may have been. Just kind of as like inspiration and like, hey, like, keep going, because this dude was running a bar program when he was 22, and you're 22 now, so like get to work, kind of deal.
What have you done lately?
That's awesome. And so you are 22 now, correct?
No, I'm 25. No,
25. Okay,
yeah, back in
but
Twist,
he was 22 when he was reading this thing, and you were 22 at the time when you were reading this thing, trying to get that.
Well,
that inspiration.
he was running a bar program. program
Right.
at 22. So it's like, hey, like, get to work. And then just last year, actually, so also a Beachside Social, also a cocktail competition. It was Coastal Virginia's joint, and it was Remy Martin. And we kind of competed against each other.
You and Josh did.
Yep. Yeah, he was in the top 5 for that competition. It was a little bit different organized.
Right.
And we had talked a little bit over Facebook, like a couple times. Like quick question, like, hey, like, this is Crudo Nudo. Like, can I like stop in and say hi or something like that? You know, I have a question about this, but not much at all. And then we had a couple like regulars in common from Twist that wound up like introducing us at that competition. And then that's when like the friendship kind of struck off. It's just he saw something, and he hasn't gotten annoyed at all my questions yet. So I'm gonna keep riding that while it's good.
No, that's cool, man.
No, that's good. He probably appreciates that you ask so many questions.
Yeah.
I love it. You know, when I have a new bartender that I'm training and they don't ask me questions, I'm like, I know you don't know this.
Right.
I'm here to help you, and I'm
Right.
going to be as open as possible, but like, give me a question so I can guide you in the right way.
Right.
So I love that. That's great. Keep doing that.
Well,
you know
he's
what I mean?
super open to that too, man. That's something that's happened like in the last year that I talk about. It's like all of a sudden I have this circle of mentors around me that's like phenomenal. I've got, you know, Josh, I've got, you know, Greg, shout out Greg, Mr. McGregor's Cocktail Shed. You know, he's another guy in my corner that like, you know, constant questions back and forth. We were, you know, he was helping me with my cocktail
Right.
competition drink
Yeah.
that we were about to compete against each other with. You know, Kaylee from, you know,
That's so
Aunties
cool.
and all that.
You were doing that with me though, because I had never done
Yeah.
this before, and I was like scared. I'm like, I don't know what to do. What should I bring? He's like, he gives his whole list, and then I'm like, hey, do you got any pour spouts when I get there? And he's like, didn't you read my list? I'm like, I've just been really busy, man. So I forgot. I totally forgot.
Got 3 kids.
But yeah, he did.
man.
And I owe you some pour spouts, by the way. I took those home with me.
Oh, you know what? In fairness, I have your Y peelers, so.
Oh, perfect. There you go. Oh, okay, there we go.
Share the love. Yeah.
But yeah, it's just, you know, I guess partly because I do ask questions. Like, I've had these people who are like willing to teach me, and now I just have like this really good circle of people I can ask. Like, just, you know, obviously a lot of bar questions, but like business questions or life questions or what it may, you know, may be that pertains to bartending. And
Yeah.
it's just like there. And I don't know too many people that have like that active resource. It's really cool. Like, I consider
that's
myself
great.
very like
That is
grateful.
neat.
Yeah, that's what I loved about working at Gordon Biersch, you know, because like before I started there, I didn't know shit about beer.
Right.
Like I knew Bud Light, Miller Light, and Chateau de Yingling.
Right, yeah.
You know what I mean? But that's about
I'm gonna
it.
step it up today, and I'm gonna have a blue moon.
Right, exactly.
'Cause
Like
I'm balling.
It's like we were talking about it a few weeks ago, but that's when, you know, you had Blue Moon, Sam Adams, and Guinness on tap.
Yeah,
And that
or
was it. You know what I
Stella.
mean? There
Ooh,
really weren't any
that's fancy.
microbrews. But having that access is great because I remember, you know, like working on site, we have our brewery there.
Right.
And the brewer's always there, always mingling. And if you have any questions, he's there. You can ask him. You know, it's like, well, what's the difference between this IPA and that IPA? He'll tell you. You know, and it's great having that. So that's great that you have those mentors and access to information, I should say.
Well, you're starting to see that grow a lot more, like, you know, I think nationwide, but a lot in this area. You're seeing a community of bartenders who are, like, much more about supporting each other.
Yeah,
and,
open
like,
arms,
Yeah,
which
and
is
then,
awesome.
like, not that kind of, like, bubble mentality where it's like, my bar is this and your bar is this, and if somebody goes to your bar, then they're not going to my bar, and, like, har, no one's-
Right.
It's like,
Right.
that's not how things work at
Right.
all. Like, when everybody like kind of just builds off each other, what y'all are doing with this podcast, like just opening a dialogue and having like people of like different styles, like speed bartending, craft, whatever it may be, and we're all talking to each other. It's like everybody just makes better drinks. Like
right,
yeah.
craft cocktail bartenders learn
Right.
how to make drinks faster and like more
Right.
for the people, and like not being a snob about vodka. Like
Right.
speed might learn like, oh, like this is what a shrub is, and like I can make this and make my
Yeah.
like speedier cocktails like more true to my voice because I can make all these ingredients in house that aren't that hard, and then like, you know, be more expressionate and stuff like that, and everything in between. And you're starting to see more people build each other up, which
Right.
is just like what it's all about, dude. Like Seven Cities Bartender Alliance, like all that kind of deal. Just more about
Seven Cities Bartender. I've to look into that.
Yeah, do
it's,
explain.
It's
Yeah.
the
Sounds cool.
it's the Facebook group that Greg started. Greg
Okay.
White, Mr. McGregor. Yeah, it's Seven Cities Bartender Alliance. It's not an open Facebook page. It's, you know, invite kind of thing. But like anybody who wants to be invited is. It's just when it happens to come along. But
Right.
it's just another platform. I think the original plan was to turn it into like a USBG chapter eventually, because if you get a big enough following. But it's just, you know, it's exactly what you see on my Facebook post. It's just, you know, hey, this competition's coming up, or hey, check out this cool friend, or this guy's doing a pop-up, or I have a question about. It's a lot like Fraternal Order of Bartenders.
I was just going to say, what's the difference?
But like on local scale.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool.